So what I'm going to do is show you the dry brush technique for adding highlights to an object, and we may do a little bit on one of these tree trunks too, so you can kind of see how that works. The first thing you want to do here, and in this case you can use your smaller sable brush as long as you don't scrub with it, okay? We're going to learn a little bit of both techniques here. I'm going to start off with, though, my number 4 flat bristle brush. Now this is one of the brushes I've added to my list of brushes. We didn't used to use this brush, well, for years and years and years, but as we've gotten into more advanced techniques and subjects, the number 4 flat bristle is a wonderful brush for some of the bigger things that you're going to highlight. Now I've already started, you see, you always start off with a dark background. See this darker background and this? Then you want to say you want to put some highlight on there. We got our sunlight kind of coming in from the back left-hand side like this, and so it's going to hit the top sort of left-hand side of each of our rock formations. Now let's go down to our palette here. This is the key almost always to good blending. Working in the same basic area, because we're going to mostly use the orange and white here for this. You take the white or the gesso, a little bit of orange. Now in this case I'm going to gray it slightly, and the complement to orange is blue, so I'm going to add a little bit of blue to it, which will slightly gray my highlight so it's not too bright, because frankly I'm not ready to make it just real bright yet. So I'll see just a little blue and orange with the white will gray that a little bit. Now it's nice and creamy, it's not real wet, it's not real dry, but the technique will be a dry brush technique. See, I'm wiping some of the excess off now. Let's go up here to, say, this little small group of rocks here. Now instead of just painting it on real thick and heavy, I take my brush, now watch what I'm going to do here, everybody pay close attention. I gently skim the surface. This is called a dry brush technique for blending. See how I'm kind of gently skimming the surface where the dark, leaving little bits of the dark area. You can take your finger and kind of work it in to the grass there, and see how all of a sudden I've created little pockets of dark and light. Now we go to this one. This is called dry brush blending for creating things like the highlights on rocks or trees or anything. Go up to this one. And see, I'm dry brushing it on. Now the reason we call it dry brush, remember when we just did the clouds? And I mentioned when you put it on, the top of your cloud has a little harder edge so you can see it, but it's the bottom part that you blend out. Now I'm going to show you some of the do's and don'ts here. See, when I put this on, I put it on with such a light touch that you can see it fade gradually back into the body of the rock with no hard edge. Here's what many of you do. I'm going to do this on purpose, so don't panic. It's correctable. But it's important for you to see the right and wrong ways to do all of these things. Many of you, when you try to highlight, let's say we go here to this rock. Let's just use this one. What a lot of you do, you put your paint on like this, and you just keep scrubbing it like this, see? And see what happens? I see this happen more often than not. You're not blending it. See, that's not feathering, that's not dry brushing. That's just pure painting, okay? You've got to learn the blending technique. Now, let's take my wet, now the good news is, even if it's oil, you can use a little linseed oil, but this is just water. Now, paper towel, wipe that off. And see, the good news is it just comes right off and you're ready to go. Now what you want to do here is take that highlight color, use a very light stroke. This is called dry brush blending. Notice how I kind of skim like this. Okay? And as I come down into the body of the rock, I'm lightening my pressure. Kind of form the front of it there. Take your finger and kind of blend it down so you got the grasses there. See how nice that rock comes out?